You know, the music just does it to me here at JP Kathy and the Crew.
Oh, that would have been bad news.
You know, that used to be our morning warm-up.
Oh,
I say something ridiculous, and you go, "I almost spilled coffee."
Oh, that could have been real bad because it was hot.
Did they call that an overlay underlay?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That might have been.
Tell me, do they call that an overlay underlay? What do they call that? Well, so I'm saying I'm opening the show and you go, "Oh, I just almost spilled coffee" underneath me. So it's like an overlay underlay.
Usually I like to crack up with you jamming because you are air
coffee
guitaring.
or the little image that we have.
Yeah, that's
the conversation.
Overlay. You're air guitaring like nobody's business.
Oh, I love it,
and that's fun, especially on a Monday morning.
That's because I love our music. So I love our music.
That would have been real bad. I've spilled water here in the new studio. Luckily, I didn't hit anything electronic.
Right.
This would have hit part of the microphone and
everything electronic.
Yeah, and the
That's
headset. You had so good times.
Good times. All right. Good morning. We're JP Kathy and the Crew here on the JP Kathy and the Crew Network. We've got Dr. Norm Clothier coming on here at 7:33. We're going to be talking about making preparations for the school year. Kathy, big conversation across the Metroplex, across the country. What should we be doing with our children medically? Should they be going back to school? Should they not be going back to school?
Well, and he's also going to talk about just some of your basic health preparations for school. You know, have you gotten your kids' checkup? Are you current on shots? All of that kind of good stuff.
The general stuff.
So remember that, you know, it's like we have forgotten about our health in all ways except for COVID. It's kind of like if it doesn't have to do with COVID, okay. So I think he's going to be bringing up some of the stuff we need to talk about with our kids,
general health,
to make sure they're good going back to school.
Well, you know, one of the big questions I want to ask him: how are we going to put the influenza in with the COVID? How are we dealing with that?
I can't wait to hear that. Literally, it's everyone who gets the flu, which I'm one of those. And you know, more years out of not years do I get the flu, if that's grammatically correct. Or
that is grammatically close to correct.
Syntaxically, God, there you go. Syntaxically isn't even a word.
Okay, hold on, syntaxically, because I need 22 seconds
here.
Did
I make that word up?
You could be. It's a good word, though. Syntaxically. I'm going to name my next child that. Syntaxically. So I'm going to syntaxically tell you that we've also got Dr. Good coming on right after Dr. Clothier.
Yes.
So Dr. Clothier will be with us from 7:33 until 7:53. And then Dr. Good will come with us from 7:53 to 8:03 to then talk about what preparations schools are making to keep students and kids safe on their return back to the building.
Yes. She had a great interview with a mom and a daughter, and the daughter had already, I believe it was Georgia, the daughter had already, the daughter of this mom had already gone back to school, and talked about what they did and with lanyards and how did they handle it. And I was really curious to hear this and didn't even think about it. How do you handle the first day of kindergarten? You know, I up until 8th grade walked my kids up to their locker every morning. And so how did parents and teachers and kids handle not being able to have that famous walk into their kindergarten class together? So, fascinating stuff going on and some very creative ways to make everybody feel like that's still a very special time. So it was glad to hear that. And then JP, weather? A little weather because it's going to be hot again today.
Well, it's just going to be hot. I mean, how about that? Hot.
Yeah, hot.
Just like Dr. Clothier. It's going to be hot right here at Venture X Studios in Frisco, Texas.
Yes, and at Venture Studios here in Frisco, Texas. We've got a sunny morning, 81 degrees, headed towards a high of about 98 degrees, a low of 78. The rest of the week, 98, 100, humidity hanging around 72 degrees, so good times.
Yeah, but get to the best part, though.
That's what I said, humidity.
Yeah, but say it again.
Hanging around 72 degrees, that's not the best part when it's above 70.
Yeah, but how much is the percentage? You said 72 degrees.
No, I said 70. No, it's 81 degrees, 72% humidity.
Oh, so you said degrees. You'll be able to go back and watch this podcast.
No.
Okay, Chuck,
you
can you just play a replay?
You were too busy
getting out. She said 72 degrees.
I said 72%.
Replay it, Chuck.
If he replays it, it's going to start us over.
We'll play it after 9 o'clock.
81 degrees, 72%
I was
humidity.
I was paying attention.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay, sure.
I got you. You're going to be a Coke on this one.
We have Dr. Norm if you...
Oh, very good. Dr. Clothier, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. How you know it's me? I haven't seen you in a while. You might
Oh, I think that's a knock on my doctor visits.
I was going to say, have you gone to the doctor for your annual?
Non-compliant.
Oh, yes. I'm non-compliant and defiant.
Anyway,
I love it.
Well, let's segue in from that actually into Dr. Clothier, the conversation about making sure that you get in and get your kiddos checked out. You get in and probably get your physicals done. You know, Dr. Clothier, would you recommend that a student athlete, whether they're going to be participating in athletics or not, go ahead and get a physical this year anyways?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting because part of the whole COVID crisis deal has come down to, a lot of people are postponing routine care. And I've been amazed how many people actually flat out told me, they stop their medicine because they're home. And, it's kind of crazy because that doesn't really make any sense. But
they've stopped medicine, Dr. Clothier? Dr. Clothier, they've stopped medicine. I know quite a few folks. I have not gone in for my annual yet, which I'm just a little right about a month. Well, it was in July,
Thank you,
so I'm only a couple of weeks out, but I've got to get it done in August because I need a refill on meds. Why would you not take your medicine? Like I even did. I told you about this, and I was very pleased with the Teladoc thing to get medication refill.
Oh, sure. Why
wouldn't you take medicine?
Well, because people are funny about medicine. They always think they don't need it. And, that's a human condition. That's one of those issues where, you just kind of think, oh, I'm doing fine, don't need it. Or a lot of people think their blood pressure is purely from work. And then, if they're working from home, it's better. And, of course, unfortunately, they don't check it or, all those things. So those things happen. But we've definitely seen a decline in routine medical visits, and one of those has absolutely been well child visits. And a well child, even if you're a 285-pound junior in high school football prospect, you still qualify as a well child because if you're under 18, you are. But those visits are very important because we can screen for disease like blood pressure. Blood pressure is one of the biggest ones that sneaks by in young athletes, especially if they're relatively large people. And even if that being large is muscle bulk, they need a blood pressure check. And they need a couple other things done to check their health too. Vision is always valuable. Listening to the heart is extraordinarily valuable. And that's, we all hear of those athletes who unfortunately pass away in practice, pass out in a game or, whatever. And they have a heart condition that sometimes can be detected with physical. It's hard, but a careful physical and history can detect a lot of that. But a lot of what we need, and to answer JP's question on whether it should be done, it absolutely should be done because there are three issues, I think, at hand there. One is we don't know what the sports season will be like, but if they suddenly want to play, we don't want to emergently rush them through a physical or have them, come in on Thursday for the Thursday night JV game that, they barely are ready for. You want to be conditioned. You want to be ready for a season, even if the season appears to be questionable. The second factor is just general health. It's really important to have good nutrition, good exercise. I'm always emphasizing those, but they are key. We also occasionally pick up on other things like abuse syndromes or a mental health issue that is extraordinarily important to pick up on and help your student or athlete or student athlete, any of those. And I think that's really important. And then the third is immunizations. There's been more talk about vaccination immunization with COVID-19, and we obviously are on the wait to see what happens with that. But there are other immunizations that are critically important. And in fact, if you're going to enroll in a college class, even if it's online, in Texas, you must have your immunizations up to date, including a Menactra shot or a Neisseria meningitis prevention, which is a type of meningitis. And so all those things are important with a wellness visit for a child. And I think those are the immunization issue is really an important one because we're all already talking about, of course, the concerns of the influenza hitting this fall on top of COVID or other disease. And I think it's really important to be thinking about prevention of all disease in that case, including meningitis, pertussis, mumps, measles, rubella, all those that we immunize against. And that's very true for babies as well.
So, Dr. Clothier, as some of the smaller schools are getting ready to go back to athletics, like they've already been working out, they've opened up their gyms, they're getting ready to, I mean, the volleyball season is going to go forward, the basketball season is going to go forward, they're going to play football in the smaller school districts. What precautions should student athletes, parents, and coaches take to help prevent the spread of COVID-19?
Well, that's a huge question. Now, I appreciate it because I think that's a big issue. You know, the increased risk of playing sports and disease transmission is the heavier breathing because of the nature of an athletic workout, you know, whether in a game or a practice. And I think practice is one of those that we kind of overlook. People are talking about safety in games, but practice is a big one. And then, of course, the secondary issue of having droplets around, including sweat. And it does appear that any moist surface could hold the COVID virus for a while. And whether that's a spittle droplet from the mouth or if it's sweat, we're unclear on that because it's still being studied to try to figure out exactly what happens. But when you're in close contact with other sweating, heavily breathing individuals, there obviously is risk. So you need to minimize the risk of infection in other aspects of life. Don't be around too many other people. Try your best to isolate from those at risk. You know, the grandparents, the great-grandparents are possibly the ones much more at risk than the student athlete. And for parents, I think just the whole hygiene, hand washing, jersey washing, equipment washing, cleansing of bags, athletic bags. A towel should never be used more than once without being washed in between, whether that's for showering or for wiping off a sweat. I think all those things are huge factors. There's an ongoing debate as to whether you can carry the virus on your clothes if you've been sweaty or even just around the virus. You know, let's say, for instance, me in the doctor's office, sitting around having people breathe, cough, whatever, whether there are particles on the clothing. Probably on dry clothing, it's fine. On sweaty clothing, that's a risk. So I would suggest taking a change of clothes, have your student athlete change out of their sweaty clothes rather quickly if you can, isolate those into a bag, get home and wash them, and dry them thoroughly, and that should be somewhat preventive. Have hand sanitizer available, have hand washing available. I think you need to take breaks to wash hands and use soap and water, and that's just fundamental.
When you're talking about the clothes, I've seen this, and I'll admit I'm guilty. I buy a sanitizer that is 99.9% disinfectant for the air and for your clothes. So you can do it on fabric, and I'll do even when I have a jacket or jeans, and I'll take that off when I get home. I'll hang it up in an area away from the kitchen and bedrooms and spray it. And is that too much precaution?
Now, Dr. Clothier, hold that thought for
good for industry.
Hold that thought for just a second, Dr. Clothier. It's currently 7:43 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You are listening to JP Cathy in the Crew on the JP Cathy in the Crew Network.
All right. And the weather right now is sunny and 81 degrees in Frisco, headed towards a high of 98 today, and then JP a low of 78.
Joining us today is Dr. Norm Clothier with Family Healthcare Associates right here in the Venture X Frisco studios. He's coming in via his video camera from work, I'm assuming, Dr. Clothier.
Yes, I am in my office.
Now, see, all these people get to see how handsome you are and why I like going to see you at the doctor's office.
Well, I fixed my radio face a little bit, but I'm still trying to
You
stay in
look
the shadows.
great. You look
Well,
great.
thank you.
For 5 years, people have wondered what you look like. Now they know.
Well, I hope it's not too disappointing.
No,
That's,
not at all.
Not at all, but Dr. Clothier, so
yeah,
the question Cathy had asked, sorry
hit
about
it once,
that.
I could. Yeah. So anyway, talking about the sanitizing clothes and such, I think precautions are good, and I do mean, Cathy, you're talking about spraying down the clothes and the
Yes.
surfaces there. I think that's reasonable. I think it's also very reasonable, though, to realize that we live in a world with germs.
Right.
And, I hate to sound like such a skeptic, but when I hear 99.9% of something's going to be killed, there's still
Yeah.
that 0.1% that is a significant issue if you get that viral load. And so, I wouldn't let that replace anything else. I think
Right.
it's an add-on to being careful and smart. And I think all of us have to come to peace with the fact that at some point we may very well get the virus. And, that's just going to be one of those things where, most people obviously are surviving. It's 99-ish%. But, cases out there, there are terrible cases. There are sudden deaths that, happen over a day or two of being overwhelmed. There's some that drag on for a while and die. And, those things are sad, difficult, terrible. But I think we also have to come to peace with the fact that we live in a world with germs.
Right.
And there, other infections, I see a lot of staph infections, staphylococcal infections in athletes because of sweaty clothing, moist towels, things thrown in their gym bag while they're wet, shoes that say wet and sweaty. I think we think about socks. We don't always think about shoes. Things need to be out getting air dried and you need to use some sort of cleanser on items the best you can. But I think drying from sweat is one of those biggest issues that's very important and tends to be antibacterial as well as antiviral. And, of course, little things like fungus and mold that, we don't think will kill you, but they can sure irritate you. So I think it's really a smart thing to just have the big picture view of hygiene, but also the big picture view that if you are participating, as JP was mentioning about smaller schools having their sports, if your athlete is showing any symptoms, hold them out. You can't presume that just because they have, only a little fever and cough that they're okay. Protect the other people. I think that's really an important thing, to respect others enough to say, my child's sick, or if you're sick, don't go to their game. Don't sit in the stands and become an index case for a new infection breakout. And, nobody wants to be in that spot. You don't want to be exposed by others who probably knew they had it and came and got you sick anyway. So, be respectful of your fellow people. And I think that's a huge issue, too.
So, Dr. Clothier, should parents be afraid to bring their kids in for their wellness visits, get their physicals, get their immunizations because of COVID-19 inside of a doctor's office or clinic?
No. We screen people. We're not bringing people in with fever. We're trying our best to kind of watch the numbers of people coming into the office. Now, admittedly, we get suddenly overwhelmed occasionally when a bunch of people show up at once, but we try our best to spread them out. Chairs are set separately. We're trying to get people into exam rooms as quickly as we can. I know every doctor I know is trying to do those things. And I believe personally that the doctor's office, the dentist's office, the, medical care facility you go to is probably safer than any store you'll go to that are, where they're counting the number of people in the store, maybe kind of trying to track that. We're trying to be absolutely as careful as we can. And frankly, that's for the sake of ourselves and our staff too. We don't want to bring people in and get everybody sick and be closed for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks because of quarantine and illness. And, the worst would be a death of a staff member. And, we don't want that. Nobody does. So we're trying to be careful, but we also believe in healthcare. I've treated infectious disease for 30 years now. And I've never shied away from treating somebody who's sick. And I think it's important that, we have protocols in place for those who appear to be ill in terms of isolation rooms and such. And the well ones, we do our best to respect the fact that they've come in well and they're going to leave well.
So, Dr. Clothier, let's talk about your clinic hours now. So you have the hours where you call, you make an appointment with your doctor, but Family Healthcare Associates and you at your Renner location do something that's neat. I love it, where I used to be able to bring Katerina in after hours, my daughter, if I couldn't get an appointment with my doctor, and sometimes I'd get lucky and you would be on call, and I would end up getting you anyways. So is that a safe environment? Is the clinic a safe environment to bring your children to after hours?
Yes, and I need to give the caveat that we are doing after hours a little differently, and I appreciate you mentioning that. We're doing 5 to 7 p.m. weeknights, 9 to 12 Saturday, 1 to 4 Sunday, but we are doing all those by telemedicine. And the reason is that in the daytime, when we have scheduled appointments, we can screen people for fever, by phone. We can screen their symptoms. If they sound like they probably have COVID-19, but not severely, we ask them to quarantine at home. In our after hours, we don't have that ability, staff-wise and such, to do that. So we're doing all televisits at this point. So it is safe because it's from your own video device. And so I would encourage, don't shy away from having medical care and having, something evaluated. And then what I've found from televisit is that there are things I just can't see. If somebody has ear pain, you can't see in the ear by camera on a laptop. So we'll do our best to provide the right medical care for that. And then I, tell them if necessary, come in the daytime and we'll take a look and, we'll do all the screening ahead of time there. But don't let the virus get in the way of basic health care, because you just can't neglect everything and hope it's fine in fear of the virus, because there are many other things. We talked about before, heart disease is the number one killer in America. And we don't see daily numbers of deaths like we do with COVID-19, but there are daily deaths. It's a reality.
Right. Well, we've got 2 minutes left, Dr. Clothier. What advice would you give teachers, administrators, and parents as they move forward and they start to go into the physical buildings to be taught?
Sure. First thing is just be as healthy as you can in general. Good nutrition, exercise, absolutely fundamental. The second is pay attention to all hygiene, including masking. I think that fits with hygiene. Wear a mask to protect others. Remember, it's not protecting you. It's to honor others and not infect them. If you're asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic or, may have the infection in a few days, pay attention to your symptoms. If you wake up feeling sick, don't go in. That's what gaps in the workforce and the student appearing at school are for. Is, those sick days need to be honored. You don't need to go get everyone sick and then retrospectively decide perhaps it wasn't a good idea to be there. So you really need to have hygiene equipment available to use your soap and water at the sink, use your hand sanitizer, just do everything you can to protect yourself and others. And with a mask, I would really encourage, wear it right. I'm amazed how many people have it down around their mouth and their nose is just breathing away, putting the air out there. If you're going to wear it, and it's going to be required in schools, or it's the right thing to do, then you need to wear it right. And, we're all in that boat of wearing a mask. Nobody's loving it that I know of. But I think it's very important. And I think if you get, a little tired of it or frustrated, you're okay. And let me just say, carbon dioxide does not accumulate behind the mask and poison you. I've had that question so many times, and there are rumors out there. That's a small molecule compared to viral particles, and airflow actually does occur when you breathe through a mask. And there actually are gaps around it, too, where you can get air in and out. The idea is just not to propel it into a room of people.
Well, Dr. Clothier, I cannot thank you enough for joining us, and love the fact that you were in your office and able to video on today.
You look great. This is fantastic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I got electricity just for this.
we appreciate that.
Slow. I'm a slow adapter.
We appreciate you going with the new technology and the new format. Thank you, Doctor.
It's amazing. I found out a phone can work for more than one thing. It's pretty incredible. So.
Yeah, I find these things out on a daily basis as well.
Oh,
very good.
As long as you remember how to use a stethoscope and I use that microphone, I think we're both okay.
Absolutely. JP, you look good in a tie, by the way. I think
I will have to take
to work on that.
Yes, sir. Thank Dr. Clothier, always looking out for me. I appreciate it.
Have a blessed week.
My pleasure.
Have a blessed week, right. Dr. Clothier.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right. So 7:53, Kathy here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We are reporting live from Venture X Studios here in Frisco, Texas. First of all, love the fact that the coffee machine here is amazing, but also the people. And I want to highlight.
Yes.
I want to highlight Rachel.
Yes.
And poor Rachel has no idea I'm doing this. What a sweet young lady.
Yeah.
Who every time I walk through the door, good morning, how are you?
Super friendly, super professional.
And on top of everything.
Gorgeous as all get out. And yeah, it's It's great.
Really?
You come in here. You've already when we get in here before 7 o'clock. You've got we didn't today. Okay, sorry, Charles. But anyways, when we get in here before 7, you've already got small groups meeting. You've already got people working in the work area. There's such a positive vibe and a positive buzz around the office space here at Venture X. We cannot recommend workspace here more highly. I mean, heck, you and I were both here till what? Till
Well,
about
I
3.
was
You
here
were here
till
till
6.
like
Well,
I was
6
here
or
till
7.
about 3 or 4 on Friday, and we find ourselves. Actually, you and I, and we both work from home a lot
Enjoying
and
this.
stuff like that. Working up here because we dig the environment. We like
We
the
do.
people. Chance couldn't be better. Leon, can't
Well,
wait
no,
to have
no,
him
no,
on the
no,
show.
no. We're highlighting Rachel.
Oh, sorry. It's just Rachel today.
So there's the coffee machine. So this morning I had to cancel because I decided I wanted a cappuccino because this thing will do that for you, right? And so I get foamy milk. And it said, I told Kathy, I go, you're not going to believe this. I said, it just said that, what did it say, Kathy, about the oil? It was an oil derrick.
oh, yeah. It's, dang it. It was funny.
Jetted out the beans or something like
Something.
that.
You
It
mean
was-
it was punny?
Yeah, it was
it was
punny
definitely
because
punny.
it's Pun Day. Thank you, Charles.
I think that, Kathy, you and I may have to work on a little romance that may be developing in the office.
Where's that? Between who and who?
I don't know. Jacob got kind of hooky cooky when we talked about Rachel.
Jacob's 17.
So he's a man?
Well, but
We were sending
I don't
men
know
off
that
to
his dad
war
wants us
in
to hook him.
Texas.
I don't know if his dad wants us to hook him up. Plus, he's underage.
John, I have a girlfriend, all right?
Yeah, but I saw him light
good
up,
for
though,
you,
see.
Jacob.
You're not married.
Good for
He's
you.
not married.
He's got a girlfriend.
He's
Okay, do you want
17.
do you want your girlfriend to say to somebody, "Well, I'm not married. I just have a boyfriend."
I'm 48. That's different. He's 17.
Oh,
He's got his whole life ahead of him. All I know is he played the little button on the doodaddy when we said Rachel's name.
Because that was nice and appropriate to do.
Yeah, but he did the do boom bum, not the applause button.
I don't think that
I don't
means
know.
anything.
I think it
in
means
the
something.
teen world.
I was messing with some chords, and these buttons are very sensitive.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, see, we're turning red. See, the camera can't see him, but he's turning. I don't know. This may be a romance in the making.
Oh no! Okay. First of all, she's over 18,
Shut
so
it
this is
down.
inappropriate.
Oh,
what you're even
he's
suggesting?
a man. We send men off in Texas to war with the Mexicans. Give me a
Back
break.
in the day, not current
Oh,
day.
give me my flag. I want my flag.
Oh, my gosh.
Come take it from me,
Oh,
gosh
don't
dang
we
it.
have Dr. Good calling in soon?
17 is, can be charged as an adult.
That's right. You can go to jail. So I'm
Oh,
telling
goodness
you,
gracious
you're
me, oh
young.
my.
Lead your life. Of course, when Jacob leaves here, his girlfriend's gonna be like, "You're done."
Oh God.
He's talking to right. He's trying to make up for. See, and he's showing. See,
Jacob,
I'm
I
not
feel ya,
blushing.
honey.
I'm not blushing.
I feel
JP's not
ya.
telling the truth.
He's currently texting his girlfriend saying, "If you're watching,
Turn it off.
JP is jacking around, and there's nothing there."
Hey, I heard the badoom badoom. Do we have Dr. Good so I can stop doing this to poor
Yes, so
Jacob?
you can
No,
save
not
yourself. Oh, no!
You want to
no.
text Dr. Good real quick, Kathy?
Yes.
One of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Just a second, almost.
Oh, almost. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about today is James Throckmorton. Now, you may be wondering to
Yes.
yourself, who is
Who's
James
James
Throckmorton?
Throckmorton?
Well, good, glad you asked, and we're going to talk about
I
that.
was going to ask that for you, so
Yeah.
there's your segue.
Thank you. So at 8:13, we're going to be talking with Thomas Klein from the Collin County Republican Men's Club.
That's right. Big
about
golf
their
tournament.
golf tournament coming up.
That
Right.
supports veterans, by the way.
By
so
the
that's
way.
good stuff.
We're also going to have at some point, we're going to talk about the Marines. And we're not the Marine. It's the Marine Corps that he's doing that with.
Are you talking Chuck Wright?
Yeah.
Is he coming on today?
Well, I don't have him
Who's that?
scheduled.
We need to schedule Chuck Wright. We need to schedule you on Friday. Would we have time
No,
Friday?
no, we don't, because
Oh,
Friday's
we
a
don't.
big
Friday's
show.
a big show. That's right.
Big time
big,
show.
Big. That's right. Then Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to schedule
Yeah.
Chuck.
We're
You're
doing
right.
that now on the
Yes,
air
yes,
live.
yes.
We're booking people now live on the air.
Yes.
So if you didn't hear
So
that,
ping us,
too bad.
text us.
You're not coming on. So no, not true.
No, Chuck's a member of the crew. He'll bust our chops and crack
So
up.
at 8:15,
Doctor, be good.
good.
It's right now.
Well, bring her up. So at 8:15, be ready for the conversation on James Throckmorton and what that means to what's coming up on Friday. So
Yes.
big conversation there. All right. Good morning, Dr. Be Good.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. How are you?
We are
We're
well.
doing well. How are
so
you?
we had Dr. Clothier on earlier talking about preparations, how to, if you're in athletics and you're participating in athletics, Don't forget that practice is probably more important than worrying about game time, because the COVID-19 could be held longer, possibly in
On, like, wet, sweaty
surfaces or
clothes.
wet, sweaty clothes. And if you're feeling sick, don't go to school or athletics. So
Yes,
from an
please, oh, please, oh, please.
from an educator standpoint, as you are a superintendent for public schools, what are schools doing to help protect teachers, administrators, counselors, and students as they get ready to start coming back to buildings potentially in mid-September?
Well, or in August, because some schools are going back this week and next week. So what's happening is schools have been using the summer to really purchase a lot of interesting devices. There's misters now
yes.
that custodians use to mist areas, mist surfaces, mist door handles, and that's all written into the opening of schools plan that all schools must, in some cases, turn into the counties. And you're about to see a Zoom husband go by.
Hi, Tom. Hi,
Good
Zoom husband,
morning.
Tom.
He was feeding the dog.
We love
Okay,
Tom.
so-
We love Tom. He's okay.
And he's fully
Okay.
dressed, so it's okay, Dr. Good.
We were a little depressed
He's
about
not like
that.
some of the news reporters
We
that
were a
have
little
had
depressed
issues
about
with.
that. I was kind of hoping he was going to streak by.
And
Anyway.
we were
Yeah.
going to go viral.
So anyway, so we have all these doodads. We have cool new devices. We have new disinfectants, and that guarantee. I don't know if it's 99.9 or 100%, but we are. If buildings were clean before, we're even cleaner now.
Right.
And on top of that, of course, we have protocols of every few hours having to go back and re-mist and re-clean and re-wipe instead of it just being in the morning and in the afternoon, especially after the kids go home. So that's certainly in place and understood. Now, one of the things that Dr. Clothier did mention that I thought I might bring up, because I've been reading research on it and I've even spoken on it, is being outside more. These practices of being in the gym instead of practicing outside when the weather's decent, that should be a no-brainer. And what we're doing at our district is asking the schools to take the kids, when the kids come in, get breakfast, go outside and eat your breakfast outside. First of all, that's just cool. Kids will remember that. We got to eat breakfast outside.
Kids love that. My son
Yes.
looks forward to. He's like, I'm just ready to go back to my school so I can sit outside on one of the park benches and eat lunch with my friends. He misses
Yes.
something that simple.
And so we're asking our campus directors to build outside into their daily schedule. And we're being asked to ventilate, right? We're being asked to violate every school safety plan that was written in the last few years about keeping doors locked and kids secure behind those locked doors. Now we're saying we keep those doors open, let the air flow, open windows. Of course, nobody has open windows in Texas anymore. It just can't. It's too hot. But anyway, how about we just take them outside as much as we can, right? And my granddaughter went to school last week, and I heard that when I talked to her, she ate in her classroom. Everything was in her classroom, and I thought, what a lost opportunity to be outside, to get that mask off and be in fresh air. So I think if parents want to bring that interesting concept to their directors, their school principals, that they might go, you know what, thank you, we hadn't thought of that. I've got articles if you need some articles to back up the research. But researchers are saying, why would you not go outside, especially in areas of the country that it's comfortable? But in
Right.
Texas, morning is comfortable, maybe after about 11 o'clock.
Yeah, afternoon's not, but morning is.
No.
Right.
Yeah, so take advantage of that. Work that into your daily schedule so that we're making school less laborious when it comes to mask wearing and so forth.
So, Dr. Good, as we go through this process of returning to schools, and I know that you don't necessarily, well, let me start back again. I'm noticing that school districts are advertising on the sides of buses that they're hiring bus drivers. What is that going to look like? Are students going to be able to sit next to each other? Are they going to have to socially distance? What's the commissioner say about that? What does the Department of Human Health Services say about that in Texas?
So that's going to be difficult. I would, if I were a parent, I would plan to drive my child if I could to school, or I would carpool with known healthy family buddies, because buses are going to be, one kid every other seat, and so they're not going to be able to fit as many kids. And certainly, hand sanitizer going in, hand sanitizer going out, and so that part is really tough. And as a parent, I would just as soon say, you know what, that's a little enclosed area with kids that I don't know. I think I'll just drop my kid off myself and pick them up if I could, if at all possible. It just makes sense. It's, of all of the school processes, that's going to be one of the hardest to control.
Yeah, I can imagine. And, when we're looking at feeding kiddos outside or kiddos getting to go outside to eat, what about, I remember when I was a kid, I would look over at my buddy and I'd say, "What'd you get for lunch today?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got ham and I got, a ham and butter sandwich."
Oh, I
He's
know
like,
where you're going.
"What did you get?" I said, "Well, I got
Ketchup and bologna.
No,
I don't know.
It's, I can't think of the name of it, but I love it. It's that
Ham
cheese
and
spread
butter.
looking stuff. It's that cheese
Pimento,
spread.
pimento
pimento
cheese.
cheese.
I got a
Yeah.
pimento cheese sandwich. I said, "How about I give you half, you give me half?" Okay. And then we would exchange foods. So, you're not going to stop this, I don't think.
Yes, we are. And then we have. Matter of fact,
we have
sharing,
to now.
food sharing has been outlawed by policy for years.
Right.
Because of food allergies.
Well, peanut
And
allergies.
yeah.
You literally even have separate. Remember when my kids were in private Catholic school, there was like a table that was designated, and there were no nuts, no oils, no anything, and it's very, very strict nowadays. Very strict.
Right. So, and remember, the kids are going to be socially distant. So if the kids are 6 feet from each other and you have adults monitoring, it's going to be awfully hard to slip half a sandwich across 6 feet, right?
Right.
But already kids know that food sharing is a big no-no. Matter of fact, we've had parents angry at us, and when I say us, all over the country, because they'll bring a pizza in, not thinking about asking the school about this. They'll bring a pizza in because it's their daughter's birthday and want to sit with 4 kids to have a pizza lunch. And it's like, we can't allow that. We don't have permission from those other kids' parents for you to bring in food from the outside. And sure, those kids want to take that pizza, but it may be even that child may have a gluten allergy or a cheese allergy, but they don't want to say, no, I can't eat that. And so there's all sorts of, we've had to train parents and kids to understand that food sharing that's something in the past. Pre-COVID, it was past. So.
Right. Yeah, it's been out there. And I remember, and this is a bummer because we used to do this, and when the teachers weren't looking, we had science experiments with what we didn't like, with like peas and milk and things like that. And then there'd always be like one boy in the class who you would dare to take a swig, and he would. And everybody's like, "Oh my gosh." And then the parents or the teachers would come over and be like, "Okay, who's made what today that's gross?" Those were such good times back in the day.
Yeah, we've just ruined school for kids, haven't we?
I know.
Well, I will tell you this. You have ruined the pizza party thing. I remember when I was a kid, we would get incentives to get like a grade on a certain test or something.
Yes.
And if we did that as a class, then we would get like a pizza party. Yeah, boo on all of you guys. No offense,
And you
Dr.
could go to the teacher's lounge and buy a soda, and the teacher would go with you.
Yeah.
I don't even think there are teacher lounges anymore, are there? That was
have
back in the
teacher
day when they
workrooms.
Smoked in teachers' lounges when I went to school.
No. We have teacher workrooms
There
now.
you go.
And if we have machines, they are full of healthy snacks
There you
and
go.
healthy water. And no, we don't send kids to go buy drinks for us anymore. There's so many things. The only thing left that I can't believe we still allow,
Right.
and that is that if it's a birthday, like it's my grandchild's birthday, her 10th birthday in Georgia, and she's being allowed to bring cupcakes for the class. But of course, not homemade, right?
No, it has to
They
have
have
the
to be store-bought.
ingredients. Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's about the only, and it's only the last 15 minutes of class. It used to be, we could shut down and have a party, but no.
Right.
It's,
Good point.
yeah. Over time, we are just taking away every fun memory of school that you grew up with.
Yes, exactly.
So they're store made. They're not homemade, huh?
They
That's
have to
exactly
be because
right.
you have to have the ingredients.
Ingredients.
So a kid can look at it, a teacher, a principal, a teaching assistant, a homeroom parent, and you check those kinds of things because sometimes something's made with like pine nut
peanut.
oil or peanut oil, and not even the peanut itself, but like in the small print. It's better safe than sorry.
Yeah. The good old
not
days.
fun.
Well, and here's the other thing you guys ruined. No offense, but ice cream sandwich day. I remember when every once in a while, I don't know if they went and got it from because remember in schools they used to have a thing that would open up after school and you can go get like those missile pops and ice cream
Oh, yeah.
sandwiches and all that fun. The push-ups.
Oh yeah.
Remember the push-ups?
The
Oh, yeah.
dreamsicles. Yeah, with,
I
remember
the
those
at
push-ups were
Flintstone.
dreamsicles. They had the orange
Right.
sherbet with the vanilla.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that was my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah, that was the days when you could roam free after school and you could go buy pickles. Remember that? Or
Yes.
nachos?
Yes.
Or popcorn?
Yes.
or
Now-
taffy
now-
and stuff. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, the good old
Not
days
anymore.
when safety wasn't quite the issue. Now you have to stay in your classroom till your number is called and you know your parents waiting or your bus is called. And
Yep.
it's very, very strict and organized, and we have to know where every kid is at all times. So, yeah, school is certainly it's just a different version.
Yeah, like I said, I
It
remember.
is.
Oh, I
It's
remember
so
when we used to
different.
have the Sundays when it would also was an incentive during like the later months in the spring when it was hot. You would get the teachers if you did X number of this or that,
You know, like
or
a Sunday party
a
or
Sunday
something.
party.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know one time we did a canned food drive in elementary school, and
You got green
whatever
beans?
class whatever class brought the most cans got an ice cream Sunday party. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, where are the days of that?
Gone.
Well, we do still some of that. Here's what we can't do. We do some ice cream socials, like for perfect attendance, which I can't believe we still can get away with. But what you can't get away with is having an ice cream party for your A honor roll and your B honor roll, because then your C honor roll and your D honor roll feel bad. And we can't,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so
But not
That-
everybody
those
gets
are-
a trophy.
Oh, it's the participation trophy generation. I'm
You
writing
got
a
to work
book on
harder.
that.
Work harder.
Yeah.
Well, so there's other words, and that's what makes award ceremonies really awkward these days. I'm going to tell you, I dread award ceremonies because we do still give out A honor roll, B honor rolls for the year's worth, right? That is a
Right.
worthy thing to celebrate.
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
Afterwards, you have parents assaulting the principal and calling me about they think Darling didn't get enough recognitions, enough awards.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah.
It's crazy, and it's been going on for a while. Even when I taught school in the 90s, I'll never forget. And I was the special education lead teacher at Plano East, but I was also one of the Golden Girl directors. And I'll never forget a mom pulling me out of class, and one of my teaching assistants coming in, and she's like, "No, Kathy, you've got to come in and address this issue." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, one of my girls has been in an accident, or somebody's parents have died, or something." No, she wanted to blast me for not putting her daughter on the front row for the Plano East pep rally and how that had ruined her senior year. And I said, you know what? I just left a classroom full of kids in a wheelchair, so I think your daughter's going to be okay.
Hold that thought, Dr. Good. It is currently 8:13 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We are JP, Kathy, and the crew. We come to you live Monday through Friday from Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 to 9 a.m. right here on the JP, Kathy, and the crew network.
All right, it's 81 degrees and sunny, headed towards a hot one today of 98 and a low of 78. High the rest of the week, 98, 99, and
Hot.
100.
No, just hot.
100. It's coming.
So, Dr. Good, 30 seconds recap. What do parents, teachers, administrators need to know as that you're ready to start the school year?
You know what? Eat clean, exercise, try to keep your stress factors low, and you will not be as open to getting COVID as if you didn't do those things. Your immune system is everything. So please, please, please think about how to get better at keeping your immune system strong through eating whole foods, exercising regularly, and keeping stress factors low.
All right. Well,
Love it.
Dr. Good,
Great-
cannot thank you
great
enough. Of
advice
course,
as
we'll have you for
always.
your regular segment on Friday at
Friday.
7:35 and we've moved Dr. Good's segment because the Commissioner of Education is now holding their I call it a press
it's
conference,
weekly
but their
conference,
weekly
right.
conference with superintendents on Thursdays now. So, Dr. Good, we'll see you on Friday, and then you can catch the rebroadcast of Dr.
Yes.
Good's show on Thursdays from 5 to 6 p.m. and catch it live on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Have a blessed day, Dr. Good.
Love you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Dr. Good. We
All
love
right.
you too.
So
She had a fantastic
we
show
should be
yesterday.
getting ready to talk golf. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. She had a great show yesterday, and like I said, had a young lady on who's already started school. Had some really cool tips that I would have never thought of. So I love how people are able to think out of the box and make school special for kids going back. So great show. Go back and catch it on any of our network channels.
That's correct.
So-
Any of them: Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, you name it. We're out there partying,
And Michelle
living
says,
the lifestyle.
Michelle says, I'm going back to the island. Can I get a prescription, Dr. Good? Oh, yes, since Dr. Good's a fellow lover of the island and the beach, I think you probably can.
Probably so.
Take her with you and you will get that prescription, Michelle.
You know, I tell you what, Tad takes us back for a moment when he says, "Do you remember our favorite NFL teams on pencils?" And you betcha I do.
Yes.
I remember trying to scrounge up
Oh.
that quarter
Yep.
so I could get to the pencil machine and twist it and hope I got my Pittsburgh Steelers.
I used to meet the guy at the pencil thing and buy
Pencil
the whole
dispenser.
box.
You
Pencil
did
dispenser,
not.
yes.
You did
They were
not.
10 cents a pencil when I was doing it.
Well, mine were a quarter.
And then it's because I wanted the whole, at that time, 28 teams of the NFL.
And so you went and bought the box.
Oh, yeah. So then I
So-
would feed through it, and then I would, he would let us look through the box and get what we were missing.
Yeah, my brother, he did that. He was a collector of anything sports and, yep,
So-
had them all.
So are you the twerp that I needed to find behind the building because you bought all the pencils and I didn't get a pencil?
Had a secret
And
black
do
market
kids even
of
use
NFL
pencils in school right now?
Watch your back when you walk out of the studio.
Hey, Charles and
I've been
JP.
looking for you for 32
Do-
years.
do-
Cowboys
do
pencil,
kids-
man. It goes for
Amen. Well, at 30
Go
years,
Steelers.
32 years ago, that had a lot more value than it does nowadays. Oh, did I say that was up my outside voice? But do kids even use pencils, JP?
Yeah,
Like in
well,
elementary school?
I
think
came
so.
across some of my NFL pencils recently.
Did you really?
Yes.
I'm not surprised because you
bring
bought
one
them all.
of those in. Bring
You
one
bought
of
them all.
those
Yeah, bring
in.
them and take
I
it from
love
you.
it.
I'm going to beat you with it.
No.
Because you stole all the pencils. So,
No.
all right, do we have Tom Klein on the line with us? We're supposed to have him so we can be talking golf here in a minute.
Checking.
All right. So, as we get ready to talk golf, this Friday between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., we are going to have Chad Green come back on
Yes.
the show. We have also invited Alonzo to come on the show. That show has generated a lot of conversation. There are some accusations that there are some things that were not wholly truthful, and we're going to bring it to you. We're going to let you make the decision. We have invited, and he reached out as well, Councilman Shimwell from McKinney as well, and then Imani also.
Right. And what
has
about
reached
is
out.
Councilman Frazier? Have we reached out to him?
Well, I wouldn't reach out to him
Why not?
because he was not a part of this. This is,
Well, Chad mentioned his name.
well, yeah, but we can bring him on and interview him, and this is a debate.
Oh, you're talking about just for the
This is a
for
debate.
the opposite side of what Chad
Correct.
presented on Friday.
Correct. And we're going to
Gotcha.
have
Okay.
Chad on. We've also invited someone who has a very unique perspective, super intelligent, and has had to live the life and walk the walk. And so that mystery person will not be released until Thursday, or pardon me,
Until-
Friday morning.
right.
Friday morning. But we have 5 people planned right now. We have confirmation of 2. We have a soft confirmation of a 3rd.
Okay.
And what we're going to be talking about is the Throckmorton statue.
Right.
That's what we're going to be talking about. And today we're going to go over what is the Throckmorton statue is what we're going to go over. And why is this causing so much controversy? I do think it's interesting, the history of it. When you go through, and I've now researched, I think 12 sites
Right.
on James Webb Throckmorton, who was born in Tennessee. His father was a physician. He came to Texas as a physician, was in the military as a
Right.
physician.
He mentions himself as a Tennessean by birth and a Texan by adoption.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And then he became a public servant. And so it's interesting right now that there is a group of people that have taken offense to that statue being there. And Alonzo's going to tell you that he's offered the statue to be moved, not just taken down, but moved to Pecan Hollow Cemetery,
Okay.
where James Throckmorton has been buried.
Okay.
Because that's where he's at. And so we're going to dive into that. And we're going to talk about it on today's show, on Wednesday's show, and then hopefully bring you a well thought out debate on the things that have been said on Friday's show. We want to do a shout out. Is it Blue Lives Texas?
It's Living Blue in Texas
Living
that
Blue
reached
in
out
Texas.
to us and included our podcast, and they did put the We Lean Right, which we do.
Well, yeah.
But here's the thing: the great thing about our show and our format, and this is where I think we are unique to others. We absolutely always welcome somebody to disagree with us, to take the other side of the fence, to take the other side of the aisle, to give their opinion, because that's the greatest thing about this country is that freedom of speech. And so now here's the thing, parameter, and I know you're going to talk more about this before Friday.
Correct.
As long as you're respectful, you follow the rules of our show, because at the end of the day, it is our show. It's the crew's show, and
Right.
we treat each other, even
With
when
respect.
we disagree, with respect. We can poke fun at each other, but at the end of the day, we're all hugging on each other and loving on each other as fellow human beings. So, hey, the more the merrier, and we welcome the debate.
Well, one of the things that I take pride on when I began doing this, 6-7 years ago now, is the fact that I want to give you all of the angles, no judgment,
Right.
and let you make the decisions.
Absolutely.
Living Blue Texas contacted us, like Kathy said. We said, absolutely, you can use part of our podcast. They are a leaning left organization, and that's great. And I have welcomed them to be a part of JP, Kathy, and the crew. They had kind words for JP, Kathy, and the crew.
No, they were not angry
In
at
the
all in what they
editorial.
said. And here's the thing, and if they were, they were. I mean, we've got thick skin. We've been at this a while. But, the fact is, they said that maybe we didn't have all of the facts presented to us, or maybe we just had one side, I think is exactly what they said. I have questions for them. What is the term "hatriot"? What does that mean? They said something about people who are gun-toting. Well, if you have a gun to protect yourself and your family, is that a bad thing? So I'm anxious for the debate and appreciate them reaching out and feeling like they could do so, and they did it in a respectful manner.
Well, and I agree with that. And so here's the thing. They lean left. We're not going to agree on everything. We lean right.
Right.
There's no doubt they're not going
Yeah.
to agree with everything on us, but we want to hear all the sides.
Yes.
And so we're going to present that to you on Friday. And
Big show.
Big show. Very
Kind
excited.
of out of our normal format,
That's
so
right.
we can take care of business on this.
Yeah. So we're going to come in and let you decide, should the Throckmorton statue be taken down? Should it be kept up? Did Throckmorton do things that offended people today that probably didn't offend them back in the day? And then do we take those things out of context? Are we taking what is historically embedded in that time frame, and are we taking it out of context in today's time frame? Were a certain group of people offended by the language, by what was said in the time, but not necessarily then, but are
Back
now?
when he was like
So-
either a congressman representing Denton or Collin or governor of
Right,
Texas.
Texas,
and,
right.
and again, it was a different time.
Is Courtney getting up here or not? What's he doing?
Corey, are
back
you
there?
coming on?
Are you getting on?
Oh, did he just
Hello?
roll? JP, did he just roll his eyes at both
No,
of
no, no.
us?
He was
Courtney.
excited. No, he was excited. That was a woohoo, baby.
Oh, okay.
I think he got his beauty sleep.
He did get his beauty sleep. We're going to
Oh,
get
he
him
always
on here.
gets his beauty
Come
sleep.
on,
He always
Corley, get
looks
over here.
great.
Get your
Corey,
coffee and
come
get over
on
here.
in. How are you?
All
Good
right.
to see ya.
It is currently 8:23. We are JP, Kathy, and the crew. We come to you live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 to 9 o'clock on those station identification.
Could you hear me kiss him? Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Station identification.
Oh,
on the
I can't do
JP
that during station identification.
No.
JP can interrupt me during that, but I
you
can't
know-
talk during it.
Do
I
you-
can't kiss my fellow partner.
How do I interrupt you? It's a station identification.
Because you did. I was telling a story
But
about.
we had to stop because it's
I was
station identification on the threes.
I know.
People rely
I've
on
got-
us on the
I've-
threes.
I've got to pay attention to the threes.
Threes. The clock's right there.
Shame on me. I will
Amen.
start stories on the fours.
Amen.
So I can talk until the next three.
And that's what you do.
Oh, just
No,
no, no,
kidding.
that's what you do. Don't just kidding.
And
You got-
everybody's like, "Wait, she's serious."
Yeah. Until I bring the clowns in.
Okay,
So-
that's the week I'll be sick.
With that being said, we are the JP, Kathy, and the
Why
Crew
did you-
Network.
We were having a good day.
On our network, we are excited to start rolling out shows that
Yes.
are very educational, full of information.
You signed up 2 more last week.
We did.
Yeah.
We have Jeremy Rosenthal joining us on Thursdays from 12 to 1 starting August the 20th. Anything and everything you want to know about criminal environmental law. And I'll tell you, real life is funny. And you have got to hear some of the stories. I mean, he's telling me a story the other day and said, you've got to tell the crew this about a man who's come in to hire them to defend this man's wife who's a prostitute. And she's an older gentleman. And,
Wait, he knows his wife's?
Oh, yeah.
a
And he
prostitute?
says the only thing sad
Oh.
about the whole scenario is that she just hasn't made more men in Collin County happy.
What?
Yeah,
no, you,
yeah. No, no,
you
no.
can't make that
You
up.
can't make it up,
It's
no.
just one of those things you can't make
So
up.
12 to 1 p.m., you can catch Jeremy Rosenthal with Rosenthal and Barberry Law Firm right here on JP Kathy and the Crew Network. On Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock, you can catch Dr. Be Good at Ask Dr. Be Good for everything educational that you might need. You're going to be able to start watching, we're putting together a financial show with a husband-wife team with Gail and Steve Meeks. Very excited about that. What does it look like to talk finance with your spouse? And these two are experts, and they even, it's fun to watch them
Oh,
talk.
I love them. I
Did you get a
love
phone
them.
call, Kathy?
Did you get a phone call, Kathy?
No.
Did you get a phone call?
Well, I got a text.
You got a text.
Oh, we got a
Why?
text.
What does that
Was I-
sound?
was I
It was kind of
cracking up?
interesting sound.
Was I cracking up? Oh no, actually, I was turning Facebook on, and I had to real quick turn it down. You had to because you could hear us talking.
Okay.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation. The crew
Yeah.
loves us for that. So,
Yes, squirrel.
yeah, squirrel.
He was wondering
Um,
if it was like an odd
But
ringtone.
what's our contacts? 'Cause
For
they
what?
can contact us, right?
No, hold on.
Oh yes, they can.
Goodness
Okay, I
gracious,
wasn't
this show
sure.
is out
What's
of
the
control.
temperature?
Oh, temperature
Fred.
32, right?
Cheers.
Uber Eats scotch. I need some scotch already. Goodness gracious, you guys are killing me.
All right.
Also, you can catch on the network that's going to be coming out soon to you as well, a bail bond show, talking with Tess Armstrong. And what that means. Oh, my. And again, you think the bounty hunter dog or whatever they call that guy is something else. Wait till you meet Tess Armstrong. She will flip your lid, let me just tell you. Also coming out on the network, which I'm very excited about, a production company that's off Broadway that has performed in New York live. They are going to be joining us. It's Christian Creative Arts, is that right?
Creative Arts for Christ.
Creative Arts for Christ.
And they're used to going and performing, at the Eisman Center at least twice a year, and they do all these performances. They're spectacular. It's for the price of admission. It's an incredible show, all based around Christianity, and. The Eisman Center, I think maybe they've got one show booked at this point, and that might get canceled. So they've had to become creative. And then again, it was such a God thing when we took this leap of faith and joined with Charles and Corley to form this new production company and network. And God's taking care of things. And so they've got an opportunity, and they had just built a new set. And so
Right.
they're going to be broadcasting live from the church.
Right. And then we're talking with other folks that are bringing shows on. One of them, I hope, is going to be a old family from Plano. One of the
That-
original families that came to Plano,
That's
Texas.
one of the first African American
during
families.
segregation.
Yes, and all the stories that go in
Yes.
with that. I was fascinated when we met with him on Friday.
I've already had educators. I've mentioned this because I think it's very fascinating. Educators that said they would like to take snippets from those shows and play them in their classrooms. And so I think highly impactful. So I hope you're considering that, and we're going to sit down with them as well. It looks like, did we ever get the golf tournament stuff coming out?
No.
Okay, if we could go ahead and put that on the screen. I know we have the graphics for it anyways. We're I guess, experiencing
we can
some
still promote
technical,
it though.
technical difficulties. The Collin County Republican Men's Club is going to be putting on the Patriot Golf Tournament. He says he's holding. So you want to
Okay,
check
I'll go
and
check
see?
it. I'll go check it again.
All right, go
But
check
there's
it
the
again.
graphic real quick.
All
and
right,
then-
so here's the golf tournament. It's Operation Once in a Lifetime, and it's going to help benefit veterans. It's going to be Friday, September the 11th at Heritage Park, and the golf is amazing out there. If you want to get information on that, just go online and contact the Collin County Republican Men's Club. You can also get a hold of us here at JP Kathy and the Crew 3 at gmail.com. Or you can go on our messenger and you can message us as well. So do want to thank all of the work that goes into making this happen, by the way.
It just
Wanna
doesn't
thank-
come about.
It doesn't. Charles Gura and Jacob Gura for what they're
Yes.
doing. You can find Charles for
Give yourself
all of your
applause, the
consulting
applause
needs
button.
at Charles at pro-maltese.com. Cannot thank Corley Randolph enough. He's
Yes.
not here right now, but we want to. Oh, I'm kidding. He's sitting here right across from me. Yeah, and you're kissing on him, so that doesn't help matters.
I love Corley.
Yeah, well,
He's a
yeah,
great guy.
I'm gonna let Michael know too.
He knows how much I dig Corley. It's all good. Oh, come on.
We have Tom.
You can still have
All right.
respect and,
Oh,
and,
goodness,
and care
respect.
and,
In
and dig
2020?
another person.
What's that even look like in 2020?
I don't know.
Anyways,
I wouldn't know from you.
Hi, John. Can you hear me?
yeah, hold on just a second,
Hey,
Tom.
how are you, Tom?
FrameworksPR.com,
Yes.
though, would love to have you go visit there. This guy does amazing. He's able to reel me in and get me focused, and so super excited.
And that's not an easy
about
job.
that.
He's herding cats with us.
Yeah,
God
no
bless
doubt.
him.
So we've got Tom Klein joining us. Good morning. How are you, good sir?
Good morning. Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's a pleasure to be on your
No
second week of your
worries.
programming.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
Tom, talk to us about the golf tournament, where it's going to be, who's it benefiting, and why do people need to go sign up?
So it's the 2020 Patriot Golf Tournament being held on Friday, September 11th at Heritage Ranch Country Club, which is about 30 minutes north of downtown Dallas in Fairview, Texas. And it's being held to benefit Operation Once in a Lifetime, which is a nonprofit organization offering once-in-a-lifetime experiences to active duty service members, veterans, and their families. So we hope that people can sign up and come play.
Absolutely.
And so how do people find out, get a hold of you? Let's repeat that information twice, Tom. Go ahead.
Absolutely. For tickets and sponsorships, go to collincountygop.org/golf or call 972-312-9959. That's collincountygop.org/golf, 972-312-9959 for tickets, sponsorships, and information.
Tom, do you have the ability to go in and put those graphics on our Facebook feed? So, because we've had members of the crew already this morning saying, can we get that on the feed so we can see that?
I can forward that to you. Happy to forward that to you. Can't do it on Facebook.
All right, perfect.
Fantastic. Well, and here's the great thing about golf tournaments
And
right
Gail's
now.
already put it on there for us.
Oh,
The
before-
URL's on
Of
there,
course she
too.
has. I love it. So it's already in the comments. Thank you to the crew. So the cool thing about golf tournaments, they're one of the few things that's actually safe from COVID. People continue to do the golf fundraisers. That's really been the only type of fundraisers we've been promoting because that's kind of one of the only things available right now.
Well, it's a socially distanceable sport, so
Right.
It's
absolutely.
outside, so yep.
Right. We won't have crowds of spectators like they were worried about at the PGA this weekend.
Yeah.
It's just a golf tournament for the participants.
There you go.
All right. Well, Tom, I can't thank you enough for joining us today, and good luck on the golf tournament. And maybe we can sneak you back on next week and let us know what your numbers look like.
Good luck with the continued second week of your programming.
Thank you.
We
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
you, Tom. Thanks for all
take
you
care,
do.
Tom. Thanks for what you
Bye-bye.
do for us. All right, get out there. Patriot Golf Tournament, September 11th. Always good stuff. And so we'll get the information posted. Thank you, Gail, for posting
Yeah,
the URL.
she's already on top of it. We love it.
All right, currently it is 8:33 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You are watching JP Kathy and the Crew on the JP Kathy and the Crew network here at Venture X Studios in Frisco, Texas.
All right, JP, you've got a sunny day, 82 degrees already here in Frisco, headed towards a high of 98 and a low of 78.
So, Corley, we created quite a bit of controversy
Oh, my.
with bringing on Chad Green and talking about what he has experienced with outside the council chambers in McKinney, people walking around with shotguns and vests, and we received quite a bit of a response on that as well. Of course, we have invited all of these folks to come together on Friday and hold what will certainly be a lively debate, but I think good discourse, because I've already told all of them this is a point counterpoint. We want good discourse. We want to be the model of what it looks like to be able to have a discussion and get all the information out for people to make their own decisions.
Right.
How do we go forward as a country and come back together?
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, big
No
question.
pressure.
Let's get you started off early. Let's get started off
Have you
early.
had enough
Warm up
coffee,
the vocal
Corley?
cords. Yeah, you're good.
I'm not sure I have the big answer for that one, but kudos for opening the conversation up. Like we were saying last week, it's not happening
Yeah.
at that level.
Right.
So I think it's no matter who you are, I don't think it's a matter of color, but it's more a matter of American identity. So whoever wants to be a part of it, if you consider yourself American.
And when
Chime
you
in.
say Corley, and we've all had this conversation off camera before, but I think this is something maybe to pose to the crew. And does being American mean you're patriotic, which means you support your country?
Well, I think I can speak for myself. I would think that that's what we would like for it to be.
Exactly. That would be ideal.
But you're right. But I think part of the reason why America's been so successful is because we've allowed. Look at all the ways we've changed with the First Amendment. Back when it was communism, we couldn't say things. There were things that were heresy, and that's changed over time. And so that makes me think about, well, where are we now? And stop looking at today, but look at it in like a decade form.
You know what's interesting is
that makes sense.
Is that
not just a snapshot of
you speak
right
about
now.
discourse.
Correct.
You speak about talking, being able to sit back down, have the conversation, be able to talk these things through, listen to each other, hear each other, relate to each other, because we're Americans first and foremost. And it's not just in the question of removal of statues or people walking around of a certain color or race in vests and guns. It's in everything. You listen to Congress. Congress can't agree on what kind of toilet paper to buy for the congressional bathroom, for goodness sake.
It's not funny, but
No, Congressman Taylor has told us the common sense conservatism he's tried to bring to Congress, and it's kind of like beating your head against a brick wall. We will have Congressman Van Taylor, I believe, starting back again Wednesday, August the 26th. So I want to make sure people get that on their calendar.
But the truth of it is that, like, Nancy Pelosi was asked the question about what President Trump had signed in executive orders and the relief effort that he's trying to make for Americans, right? And when she was asked, what do you agree with? She goes, all of it. I just don't like the person that put it forward. If that can't be any more divisive and not helping Americans, then what is? And so it seems like every conversation has got to be so polarized, there cannot be a middle anymore. Have we really gotten to that point?
wow. So that's not only happening with that conversation, which is ridiculous, but that also happened with the defunding the police, or at least like police reform.
Right.
And I think the Republicans had a bill, and they kept going to the other side, and they were saying no, 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 and finally kind of came out that it was who had written it.
Right.
It's pretty sad. Sad. So,
it's a good point. It's a very good
It's
point.
very sad. So let's give a little history today on James Webb Throckmorton. Born 1825, died 1894. Kidneys got him. He'd had kidney trouble throughout his life.
Right.
A real bad fall when he was on a visit out of the area. He couldn't recover from the fall. His health was fragile. 69 years old, and lived throughout his life with kidney damage, right? Became the governor of Texas, a congressman in the 3rd District.
Right.
Then the 5th District.
Right. Both. So he's represented both Collin and Denton counties.
He has.
Yeah.
He was a physician. His father was a physician. He was born in Sparta, Tennessee, one of 8 children. And he married Melina Wilson in 1840. His wife shortly died in 1840. He had married Melina Wilson. The next year he came to Texas, and he purchased land near the East Fork at Trinity River in Collin County, 2 miles northwest of the site present called Melissa, Texas. And Mantua was an area that he helped establish as well, which is an old water tower now about 7 miles north of McKinney. Later that year, he moved his family to their new home. Of course, he became ill, and he did a lot of amazing things for Collin County and in Collin County. One of the first things is he got involved with the war here in Texas and became a Texas military man, and went on and did some pretty good things there, trying to stop militia justice from taking over. he was able to save all but 8 men. They were scheduled to hang 52 men in Gainesville, which became a very famous time in our history. He went on to be one of only 8 Texas senators that stood against secession from the United States, did not believe in it, did go and become a member of the Confederate Army because he signed up, not because of the Confederacy, he signed up because of his state that he had moved to and became a Texas Confederate. He negotiated treaties with Indians. The Indians called him Old Leather Coat. But they respected him for what he had done as well. He came to Collin County, practiced medicine, then went on to become a lawyer and practiced the law. He ran for governor, was elected governor, and one of the things he was criticized by radical Republicans was that he wouldn't pass a law prohibiting slavery. And this may be one of the things that upsets people today from back in that day. But what his claim is that slavery was already against the law. That was his argument. His argument was it's already against the law. There's no reason to pass another law. He was he led the convention on writing the Texas Constitution, which was accepted by Andrew Johnson in the United States. And so the question is, in that time frame back in the day, what he did, was it offensive to people back then, or was he creating landmark legislation? I mean, because not only did he work against secession, one of only 8 Texas senators that did not want to join the Confederacy, he became a Union loyalist after the fact, supported and endorsed Sam Houston when he ran for governor. Of course, Sam Houston lost that bid, but won the next bid. And then created policies that helped create a balance between Confederate soldiers and African Americans in Texas. Texas is how what history says is that Texas is where he bled. He bled red, white, and blue Texas and was going to do what he could to establish a safe Texas for all. And so, and again, I've read about 12 different sites. The site that I am reading from to you now is the Texas Historical Association. They are an independent nonprofit since 1897. Wikipedia has a little bit different of a take, but it's basically the same information. So should have what he did back then be offensive today? When really he was, for that era, based on what I'm reading, it seems like he was kind of on that radical side anyways, when everybody was against any kind of civil rights for African Americans that were in charge, Democrats, Whigs, because remember, there were radical Republicans back then, right? And so did he go outside of the norm and was able to create consistency, create policy that benefited all? Because I haven't read anything in here that says that he passed policy that worked against African Americans. Was it okay at the time, or was it leading at the time, but now it would be seen as deprecating?
So that's a packed question.
Huge.
But I think we could draw from it a few things. One of the important things to draw from it is history has different narratives depending on who's telling the story. Even when he was there, it seems like he was doing his thing, and I think inherently there's good and bad in everyone. He happened to do some great things. So I'm not really particularly like talking about statues is boring to me, because I think that, especially with this in the context of where we are right now
in history, or as
yeah.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why we're talking about this is because someone wants to remove it. So the first thing I ask myself is, like, what is it going to do? What is that going to do for little boys and girls that need education, that need money for food,
that don't have access to health
don't have
care?
access to
Yeah,
healthcare.
exactly. That are in an abusive, and especially during COVID, unfortunately, more and more kids are in abusive situations. And with school us not going back to school for a while, that abuse can be hidden.
Right. And I'm not trying to avoid the
Oh,
question.
no. But
I
there are a
think-
lot of big issues and big fish to fry.
Yeah. So I think staying focused on why are they doing this and how does this tie back to? I'm not convinced that that's going to help the BLM movement if that's what's really behind it. And so if we're not really asking that question, I don't think it's a matter of defending. Like, you can't really defend the statement BLM. Like, that's like saying blonde lives matter.
And guess what? You can go to Katrina and you
What
can
else
have
is
the
new?
same hair color I've got.
It's right. It's just so funny. I guess I get so bored with, like, why are we talking about Black Lives Matter? I mean, and so now what? Or taking down a statue, and how is that going to help your cause?
And
So
are
that's
you
why.
talking like Corley? Do you mean like the anger and venom that is brought up when the riots and when people are trying to rip down a statue or whatever? And I'm not saying that that's what happened in McKinney, and that's why we're going to have both sides of what's happened and what is happening in McKinney. I know Change.org had, I want to say 1,000, and don't quote me, I couldn't find it in the article this morning, but when I'd read it over the weekend, like 1,000 signatures to remove it. And so I'm wondering, are they going about, asking, pleading to remove it in the correct manner? And if so, hey, more power to them. That's within their right. That's great. So are you saying that what does this anger get you in life for the next generation? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's it. I mean, so it's kind of like reparations. It's like,
and anger
so
on
it's
both
like-
sides.
right, correct. Correct. So you could talk about the statues in the context of what the guy did, where it stands, how much money it costs to move it, but you could also have a conversation around again, what is it going to do? what does this have to do with helping Black people? That's a huge piece for me. I can't get past that. Beyond that, I mean, hey, I get it, but I also think that we're not determinate people, and then try and do it. Be determined to do what we're going to do because of the past. I think we're people of possibility, and I think we raise our children like that. And if the past leads us, I don't know. I'm not convinced that the past has anything to do with my future. To know it is great, but I don't think the kids that I talk to are half the white children in the city don't know who that guy is.
Correct.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they could care less.
I would venture. I would want to go out there and somebody who's not a big history buff or somebody who's not into politics as it is today. I bet there's a lot of people who have eaten and gone to shops in downtown McKinney a bajillion times, and they don't even notice that the statue is there, or they're like, oh, must be like a founding father of McKinney or something.
So what is it going to do? So it's helping one party because the other party's giving pushback, and so I have to ask the question, or I think someone needs to ask the question. Okay, we can have the conversation, but I'm curious about having it in this context of what's going on. So it's like we can talk about something, but things are so, you don't want to crack a deal when everybody's with this going on. I mean, is this a real conversation, or are we trying to get an extra something from it? So I'm a
boost
little
at the
weary
polls
about
in
why we're
November.
doing this.
Yeah,
That too. That's a
yeah.
good point.
I mean, and I guess, and here's where we've had a number of members, and this will be part of what I ask on Friday is, where was this anger and venom during the Obama administration? And again, JP and I, we were on the air together, at least I was on the air for part of the Obama administration with JP, and he and I would go back and forth on policies we didn't believe in. But I always said, hey, not that I can play basketball, but if President Barack Obama comes to town and wants to buy me a beer and play basketball with me, heck yeah. Not that I could shoot. No, I was horrible at shooting hoops. That's a whole nother story. But again, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that if you are only looking at it during this presidency, then I wonder where were you in the last. And then I'm going to take it a step further, and especially as a woman, I was just very blessed to be highlighted by a group that was asking about women and women's suffrage. This is the 100-year celebration
That's right.
of women's suffrage. So, and that's not a Republican Democrat thing. That's a woman issue. Every time I walk into that voting booth, I'm taken aback that I can't believe I actually get to vote. Hey, did y'all want to talk about women's suffrage or tick everybody off because y'all are having a side conversation? That's when the teacher voice comes out. That's when the teacher's voice comes out.
The woman that
at me.
interrupts me talks over the top of me.
Yeah, but that's with you. But that's with you. So let's get back to women's suffrage. Where is anybody? Where are these crowds? I'm serious about this, y'all. This is near and dear. Charles is the one who filmed me the other day, and I got choked up during this interview. Where are women coming together from all walks of life saying, thank God we've got the right to vote, because literally 100 short years ago we didn't. So I don't understand why we can't look at things to come together. And I get it. Okay, I'm not a black woman. I don't get what it's like to be a black woman, okay? But I do know what it's like to be a woman. I do know what it's like to have had women just one small generation away from me fight for my right to go in and vote and to run for office and to be elected to office. So where are those conversations?
So you said something that I keep hearing over and over again, and I think it's a very passionate, very clear definition of someone having their own agency. But I'm not sure that you couldn't necessarily have a conversation with a black woman and there'd be so many of the same things going on in between the ears. So I get the whole piece about race, and I get the whole piece about like women were made from men, like we're all the same, and then like when we get to heaven, there's no man or female. So there are some ties here that, and I totally hear what you're saying, but I'm hearing that a lot. Like let them speak, let them. We have no right to speak for. What's the point of professors in college then? If we can't draw narratives from life and help someone else. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. No, I see what you're getting at. I'm not
trying to beat a dead horse.
And again, we're all about protesting, counter-protesting, getting your voice heard. It's just when it turns, and again, not making any accusations anywhere today. That's what our debate is for on Friday. When things turn violent, or destructive, that's where there's an issue.
So Cheryl Russell, who's part of the crew right now, had piped in and said, "You know what? Quit putting out falsehoods. Do your research." She said, Throckmorton was against the 14th Amendment. We need to put heroes up as statues, not people like Throckmorton. Well, you're right. He did oppose the 14th Amendment. And on Wednesday's show, we're going to talk about why Southern states oppose the 14th Amendment from the United States and what brings into that conversation. Of course, Throckmorton felt like as the governor, he didn't have the power to address it anyways, that it wasn't part of his powers as the governor of the state of Texas. He was removed from office at some point, but then allowed to run for office again and became a congressman. Point is that at the time, I'm talking contextually, historically, what was what he was doing a leadership thing, or was it a negative thing?
Back in the day, in that context. And so, and that we should have, and so then the bigger question is, should we have any statues at all ever? I mean, and I've listened to a lot of my friends, a lot of my black friends say, Christians' lives matter. And we're all Christian. Doesn't matter what color we are. And so it's been a very interesting take, very interesting conversation for sure. It is 8:53 here currently in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We are JP, Kathy, and the crew. We come to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning. We're here on the JP, Kathy, and the Crew Network, and we come to you live from the Venture X Studios in Frisco. I can't believe it's almost 9 o'clock.
You always say that.
Weather?
That's crazy.
Almost.
I know. Wow. Well, time flies when you're having a great time and great conversations with great people. 82 degrees and sunny in Frisco, headed towards a high of 98 and a low of 78.
All right, let's talk a little bit of baseball. A lot going on in baseball, of course. Looks like one of the top major league pitchers himself is going to be evaluated by doctors with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Madison Bumgarner is hopefully going to be okay. He just pitched in 2 innings with the loss to the Padres, not feeling so well. So we're going to wait and see if he is okay and what the diagnosis will come back with him. The Oakland A's got into a bit of a tiff this weekend. Love this. We are COVID-19. We are COVID worried 19. Baseball players are running around the mound, are running around the base pads with face masks on. Some of them are, some of them not. And yet these guys get tired of Laureano getting thrown at. And so
That's fancy.
The A's charge the Houston Astros dugout, and a brawl breaks out in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
I wonder if these guys could, should we have had them put on gloves and masks before they got into the brawl?
Right.
Maybe.
Emotions still run high in sports.
Well,
Make sure they just have a bunch of change all the light bulbs out there so that they're the UV lights and kills everything, right?
well, Twitter.
Oh,
Twitter went crazy,
Charles.
funny, wild on this. Somehow people were able to get different angles with their Twitter feeds on video of these guys clearing the benches and going out and getting each other. Laureano didn't get just thrown at once. He got thrown at twice.
So is this is this becoming WWE for baseball? or something?
You should see that. I don't know if you can go on and pull up. It's at Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
The Athletics and the Astros going at it. If you can put this picture up, it's A's on NBCS, and they've got a picture of both teams. I mean, and this is human mass of flesh getting ready to battle it out on the baseball diamond. So, yeah, the A's and the Astros go at it in Sunday's game, and it is something to behold, let me just tell you. All right, let's get you caught up on some of your
I
news.
wasn't done
Mike,
with baseball.
do what?
I wasn't done with baseball.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Mike Schilt from the Cardinals went to the emergency room due to COVID-19. The Cardinals have not played a game since July 29th, and their upcoming 3-game series against the Pirates has already been postponed as well as a result of the team-wide outbreak. So, again, COVID-19 is running through even Major League Baseball. But you know what? This is what I've got to say about that. Baseball's persevering. We are going to have to live through this. This is just what it is. And so the Cardinals will stay quarantined. They won't play a game for a while. When everybody gets cured and they get the 2 negative tests, we'll put them back out there again. That's just the way it goes.
Right.
Well, I saw, it'd be nice if we were out there in the stands because I saw the ball getting so close.
Creepy.
It was getting so much bigger. It was bigger, and then it hit me.
You're
Literally, or your cardboard cutout, which those
I'm
are
just
creepy.
trying to be a little punny.
you're very
are
punny.
punny.
Yeah,
Punny
you're
Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to give you
Pun
some
day.
pun days, some punny Mondays. Probably go out and make you go buy a Hyundai with your pun day on a punny day.
Trying to be a little positive.
Yeah, a little positive. I don't know why that's not positive. It sounds positive to me. So anyways, so Major League Baseball in full swing. College football, not so much. Have we heard the rumor on college
I got that video for you.
Holy
Oh,
Toledo.
If you can't watch this, this is the Oakland Athletics getting ready. Looks like they're warming up, and we're getting the coverage. The Astros, put his mask on. However, the guy that's outside the dugout doesn't have his mask on,
What?
but the guy at bat does, and
I
don't
thought
know.
this is
I don't know
supposed to
what
be the
video you
of
picked out. There's a
I don't
double
know.
play.
What
It
is
looks like here. A's turn a
Where is
double
it?
play on the Astros. So we'll let Chuck figure that out.
I
There's
don't know.
cardboard cutouts.
No, that's all right, Chuck. You'll find it.
Creepy.
So college football, though, it looks like the
Wow,
Yeah,
JP,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
big news.
The Big Ten is ready to pull the plug.
I know, and I think the SEC is too. I mean, I think this is
Well, now,
is what it is.
I haven't heard the SEC, but I've heard the Pac-12.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Pac-12. Pac-12.
Okay.
My bad. That's what I heard. Yes.
Here's what I say: let them pull the plug. They weren't going to make it in the top 5 anyways. The SEC, the Big 12 are going to be in the top 5, top 10 anyways.
Ooh, well.
So I mean, they're
and you know-
irrelevant.
Well, and here's the thing. So, who makes this decision? Because you do not have a commissioner of college football. So, is it the presidents or the athletic directors that make the decision for the colleges? Do y'all know?
It's the commissioners of the Power 5. So there are commissioners of the Power 5.
So, do the individual presidents of each campus not have a say so?
I'm sure that those schools had leveraged in on the conversation. What's interesting
What
is
I'd like to know is who has the my
got that
question is
video.
who has
Do
the
you?
ultimate
Go ahead and play
control
it.
over that?
the ultimate control is going to be by your commissioners of the conferences. So the Big 12 commissioner, like Bob Bowlesby is the Big 12 commissioner, right? He told the AP that no decision has been made, but the outlook has not improved. All right, here we go. This is where Laureano's getting thrown at. He's not real happy about this. You can see he's like, yeah, we need to talk about this. Of course, Laureano's not wearing his mask. The catcher's like, no.
Oh, there's the trash
Well,
talking.
the pitcher's like, if you got something to say, why don't you come over and say it? And here's the pitch.
It's like the ump was wearing his mask and he pulls it down to go talk to him.
Yeah, and he hits him again, and then here it goes. Oh no, where'd it go? Where'd the feet go? It was the biggest brawl of the century. There you go. And the brawl inspires. And so college football is on the brink. It may not be coming back this fall. In fact, all college sports may be put off this fall.
Coach Quigley said that the NCAA will decide. He put that in all caps. So that may be the ultimate say-so, which makes you wonder, should there be a commissioner of college football? I know JP would be in line for that
Absolutely.
job. He would turn in his resume yesterday.
I would, but I'll tell you, we say that, and Coach Quiggs, you say that, but I'm telling you, the Big Ten's already, the commissioner of the Big Ten and the Pac-12 will say, we're not playing regardless of what the NCAA says. So it's going to become a battle. And I'm hoping that the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC say, we're going to talk about it some more. So we'll have to wait and see. Well, stay tuned Wednesday.
Yes.
Huge show. We're going to talk about the 14th Amendment and James Throckmorton again as we get ready for our Friday show. We're also going to have Jackson Turner on.
We love
Oh, my
Jackson
gosh.
Turner. If you want to believe in the future of our country,
There you go.
Tune into Wednesday's show and see what this young man has done in his short few years on this earth and what he just did again.
Dr. Darrigan will be joining us on Wednesday
yes,
as
and
well.
hopefully we will have a live feed of him and his scrubs, ladies.
And hopefully we'll get Coralie to join us again on Wednesday
That
as
would be
well.
awesome.
We're JP, Kathy, and the crew on the JP, Kathy, and the Crew Network. We'll see you
Have a
Wednesday,
blessed day. Love you.
7:30. We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah. There's the charm. Woohoo! Yeah, follow us, like us.